हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू माय चैनल शॉर्टहैंड इंस्ट्रक्टर एंड की। तो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं। पहला पेज। द सिस्टम ऑफ शॉर्टहैंड राइटिंग प्रेजेंट इन आवर फॉलोइंग पेजेस वाज इन्वेंटेड बाय सर इसाक पिटमैन, who in 1837 published his first treatise on the art. In 1840, the second edition of his work appeared under the title Phonography or Writing by Sound, being also a new and natural system of a shorthand. In the numerous editions of phonography published in succeeding years, many improvements were introduced. These were the fruits of long and varied stenographic experiments and of the valuable criticism and experience of the large number of experts, writers of the system, who had applied it to work of every description. No other system of shorthand designed for the English language has been subjected to tested a prolonged, so diverse and so as those which Pitman shorthand as the system is now generally slide has undergone since its introduction, with the result that it has been most successfully adapted to practical requirement of all classes of shorthand writers. Although students as a rule experience no difficulty in understanding the method has set forth for writing by the sound, it is desirable that they should have at the beginning of their study the intelligent grasp of all that is conveyed by that term. Therefore, before the mastery of the first chapter is attempted, the introduction which follow the prefaces should be read with care. The advantage of practical ability in the art of shorthand writing is so universally acknowledged in the present day that it is unnecessary to emphasizes it. It is obvious, however, that the value of shorthand whether a vehicle or for private communication or for use in various ways of in business and professional life. Care. Introduction. Phonography, the name originally given to Pitman shorthand, has been briefly but accurately defined the art of representing spoken sounds by character, a system of shorthand. The first question that will occur to the student will be what is fundamental difference between shorthand characters and the letter in ordinary writing and printing. To answer this question is necessary to consider the alphabet of the language. It is obvious that the usual or a Roman alphabet of 26 letters cannot represent by distinct characters the 36 typical sounds of the English language. As a consequence, many of the letters of that alphabet are of the necessity used to represent different sounds. It is a manifest, therefore, that any system of shorthand founded on the common alphabet would prove a very imperfect and cumbrous instrument for recording spoken utterance with the certainty and speed. The chief object of shorthand, with such an alphabet, either a single sign standing for one of the letters would be required to do duty for several sounds, or more than one character would have to be used to represent a single sound, as it done in ordinary spelling. On the other hand, the three consonants C, Q, and X are unnecessary in as much as they represent sounds provided for by other consonants. Two simple illustrators will demonstrate the difference between the ordinary spelling and the phonetic method, which is the distinctive feature of Pitman shorthand. The first illustration deals with the consonants and is concerned with the ordinary spellings of the word goal and gale, in which the sounds of first consonant are different, although represented in longhand by the same letter. If the common spelling were followed in shorthand, we should have the same shorthand symbols for the both words, but the initiate sounds in those words are different. In first, the sound is J, and in the second sound is gay. For these dissimilar sounds, the Pitman system provides dissimilar shorthand signs. The second illustration deals with the vowels, as follow in the words tube and tube, TUB and TUBE. If the shorthand symbols were equivalents of the letters of a common alphabet, the final E of tube being omitted because it is not sounded, the stenographer would be obliged to write both words by the precisely the same character named tube. Pitman shorthand, however, provides the representation of the different sounds in and these are indicated by different symbols. The phonetic notations of the system of the shorthand developed in a present work has been found, after widely extended use, to possesses important practical advantage by the employment of phonetic alphabet, which has been termed as alphabet of nature. Spoken language can be recorded with the 1/6 of the trouble and time that longhand requires by those who use Pitman shorthand simply as a substitute for ordinary longhand writing. With the adoption of systemization method of the abbreviation developed in a more advanced stages, these methods of shorthand can be written legible with the speed of the most rapid distinct articulation, and it may be read with the certainty and easily of the ordinary longhand writing. An explanation of one point, however, is desirable. In the study and the use of Pitman shorthand, it should be borne in mind that although the system is phonetic, it is not designed to represent or record many shades or pronunciation. The Pitmatic alphabet in the words Max Muller comprehends the 36 boards, typically sounds of English language, and signs to each a definite sign. It does not seek to mark, for example, the 30 or more variation of which have been found to exist in the utterance of 12 simple vowels. The pronunciation of vowel, as Max Muller has shown, varies greatly in different localities and in various countries of the world in which the English language is spoken and in which Pitman shorthand is practiced. The standard of pronunciation and exhibited in printed shorthand cannot therefore they be expected to coincide minutely with pronunciation of English in all parts. Experience has abundantly proved that representation of the board typically sounds of English as provided for Pitman shorthand is harmful for all stenographic purposes. The presence of R has a modifying effect upon our preceding vowels. The student's attention is therefore direct to following observation with regard to consonant R, to certain vowels when preceding R, and to a class of vowels which may be described as more or less obscure. Thank you. Direction to the student. The system of shorthand set forth in the following pages received the name of phonography, a term derived from two Greek words meaning sound and writing, because it affords the means of recording the sounds of spoken language from the outset. Therefore, the student should remember that he is learning to write by sound, to write words as they are pronounced, that each simple character represents one definite sound and no other, and that the ordinary spelling with its many irregularities and inconsistencies as exhibited in printing and in longhand writing, it not to be followed or imitated. When the student has mastered the value of the phonographic signs, he should use those which represent an equivalent sound informing the characters for the words he desires to write. For example, if he wishes to write in phonography the word key, knee, spelled with the 4 letters, those through made up of only 2 sounds, he uses 2 phonographic signs, namely that for consonant N and that the vowel of E, to spell in this fashion. A mental analysis of sound of words must be made, but the ability to do this is very easy acquired, and it soon exercised without consistency efforts. For working exercise and ordinary phonographic writing, a pen and ruled paper should be used. Speaking generally, it is not so easy to acquire a neat style of writing by the use of pencil as it is by use of pen. No doubt the pencil frequently employed. In some cases, indeed, it may be found impossible to use a pen for note taking. The student would do well, therefore, to custom himself to write either with a pen or a pencil in more advanced stages of his progress. True for writing the exercise given in this book, the pen only should be used. The pen should be held lightly, and it such a manner as to permit of shorthand character being easily written. The whisk must not be allowed to rest upon the notebook or text. In order to secure the greatest freedom of movement, the middle of the forearm should rest on the edge of the desk. The writer should sit in the front of his work and should have paper on or notebook parallel with the edge of the desk or table. For shorthand writing, the nib employed should not be too stiff, but should have a sufficiently fine and flexible point to enable the thick and thin character of the system to be written so as clearly distinguished the one from the another. Paper with a fairly smooth surface is absolutely essential. The student should thoroughly master the explanation and rules which preceding the respective exercises and write out several times and illustrated words appearing in the text. Afterward, working the exercises as a secret of success in shorthand is practice. It is advisable that various exercises should be written or rewrite until they can be done with perfect freedom and accuracy. The pursuit of progressive reading lessons in printed shorthand will also be found helpful to the student in forming a correct style of writing. And the practice of writing the characters at the first with careful accuracy, afterward with the gradually accelerated speed with materially assist him in forming a neat style of shorthand writing. The system is fully explained in the following pages and can be acquired from the instruction books alone by anyone who is prepared to devote ordinary perseverance and application to study. With the assistance of teacher, however, more rapid and satisfactory advance will be made in the mastery of the art. Should any difficulty be experienced in finding a teacher, the publisher will be pleased to furnish any student with the name and address of the neatness teacher of Pitman shorthand. It should be pointed out the satisfactory progress in acquiring the art of shorthand will not be made if the certain portion of time is regularly devoted to study every day, or in the case of school or class instruction by a thorough and punctual performance of allotted portion of work forming the course. Study at irregular intervals of time is little value, but an hour or longer period devoted daily to tasks will give the student a knowledge of a system in comparatively short time, and constant and careful practice will bring speed and flexibility or mastered in shorthand. The advantage of practical ability in the art of shorthand writing is so universally acknowledged in the present day that it is unnecessary to emphasize it. It is obvious, however, that the value of shorthand, whether as a vehicle for a private communication or for use in various ways in business or a professional life, would be largely diminished if the same system and that the best were not employed. This important fact is now generally recognized, and statistics, testimony of the public men, and journal observation concur in demonstrating that the system which Sir Isaac Pitman invented is thought and used as a shorthand per excellence for all who speak the English language. Further and very significant evidence to the merit of his system is fact that it has been adapted to no fewer than 20 foreign languages. The publisher taking this opportunity of tendering their sincere thanks to large number of expert writers and teachers of phonography who have offered valuable suggestions for the improvement of the present edition. This edition is 6th edition, Pitman Shorthand Instructor and Key, New Era Edition, made by Isaac Sir Pitman. Thank you for be back to your channel. Meet you soon. Thank you for watching my channel. Meet you tomorrow. Your teacher.